I hate you guys. You guys are assholes.
Well, I have finally been allowed to make videos again, so I figure I would. It's been 3 months. We actually got a community strike on our channel, so I couldn't upload anything for a while. Thanks, YouTube. Love it. So, where are we at? I am in Las Vegas right now, cleaning out my parents' house. Because I'll actually have to post the pictures in here somewhere too when I go to edit the video. You see the other house is cluttered with stuff everywhere and whatever. This happened though. Back door. Of course, we moved up to Pahrump. Well, it's been a few months ago. This house was sitting dormant. You can see somebody came over and kicked in the back door. Great. Glass on the floor. Kitchen stuff. Like I said, I could show the pictures afterwards. It's been a blast. You know, I've been loving it. All the cupboards are open. They basically just came in, dumped everything on the floor. This place is cleaned up now. I actually hired a few guys to come over too. This is paperwork out of the office and memorabilia and stuff, pictures and baby pictures of me, my brother, grandkids, you know, my daughter, all this kind of stuff. So kind of nice. I got baby pictures of my daughter again that I haven't seen in 20 years. But this whole house was, everything got dumped on, like, I think it must have been teenagers or something like that came into the house and just basically put an arm onto a shelf and just raked everything onto the floor. This room was 2 feet high of, everything was tossed, paperwork, everything. So I've come in here, had to clean all this up, totes of pictures, everything. Shelves, everything, but all of our, you know, my mom's collected, I got binders full of genealogy studies and everything of our Cherokee stuff, because we're, you know, half Cherokee or whatever. Anyway, all the Indian dolls that my mom had, like this old video camera from like over 20 years ago. It's got a video of my daughter on there, I guess, when she was a baby. I saw the tapes. Anyway, you can see though, this place just got trashed. These antique clocks were actually on the mantles and they were thrown over here. You can see drawers missing out of the buffet. A lot of old china. Luckily enough, the old china didn't get touched. But, yeah. All these old photos. At least they didn't get taken off the wall. I don't know who shot these. I know it wasn't my dad. He was a photographer for a lot of years too. He did a lot of this kind of stuff. Plus he had his own, you know, red room or whatever, developing stuff. So you can take a look around here though. This, of course, who had to come clean it up? Me. You know, great. My parents had so much stuff, dude. You can see the bedroom. Just, this place was totally tossed. I just cleaned all it up, put a lot of stuff back away. Oh, God. Bathroom. Hey, what's up? But, yeah, old medical supplies and stuff. I'm surprised they didn't take all this stuff, really, but, you know, to give you an idea of the shower, everything. To give you an idea, though, of the closet. Look at this. This is where everything, they just tossed everything on the floor in here. The whole house was basically like this. Still working on this. Still got the other 2 bedrooms. Again, just cleaning all this stuff out. But, frustrating, man. So much junk. If anybody knows me, I'm very minimal in that regard. Like, this room's still half tossed. You know, they got into everything though. Just wrecked it. Thanks a lot, people, whoever did it. This was the room we were staying in. Again, had this, like a hope chest over there. That was all my dad's old, like, baby memorabilia. His baby blankets. He had, like, bronze baby shoes in there and stuff. Of course, we still had a couple of things, old clothes here. Even pulled the pictures down and stuff. What picture over here? They actually cut the back off of it. Like, what do you think? Was this like olden times? We're like hiding cash behind pictures and stuff. Stupid. Yeah, what's up? Selena left a little goodie behind. All right. Then the garage too. The garage was 2 feet deep out here. They took everything off and dumped it. So garage is totally covered. The safe, it's my dad's old safe. They had pried the pad off of here, the number pad. Plug got broke out of it and stuff. I just plugged it back in and tried it. It works still. So the safe is still good. But again, just this was all trash. Had a few dudes come over, clean it up to an extent. You look out here. This is what the clean out has been though. I got this dumpster. And you can see it's to the top. It's the only part I have left is right there on the end. You know, we had the door open on it, walking stuff in there and just throwing it all away. It's gotten to the end now where there's just the last little part of it on the end is still open. That's how much stuff we pulled out of this house. God, man. Ridiculous. And then stuff I'm going to be taking is, you know, the air compressor, the tool chest, some of this other stuff in here. Stool, of course. Nice patent fan. Already found the welder, took that. There's just miscellaneous, like he had telescopes and binoculars and all kinds of stuff. Good thing about the safe was I already took all the guns out of it. But over here, still a lot of tools and stuff. My dad, you know, he did a lot of gunsmithing and stuff too. All of his old, he had his old press and a bunch of old like reloading equipment and stuff like that. I'll be taking all that up to the house. Yeah, so it's been fun. And we're still not done. Filled up that whole dumpster. Still not done. I still got to take all the pertinent stuff, like all this, and pulled all this crap out and everything. It was all over the floor. Ugh, good Lord. Like I said, good Lord. There's me, my brother. That was my grandpa. That was Papa, my mom's dad. There's me and Selena. There's me when my daughter was born back in 2003. There's my brother with his kid back in 96. There's my daughter Bella. There's me, my little fat ass when I was a baby. My brother and his wife. My parents and my brother before I was a thought in my dad's balls. That's crazy. You go through, you see all this memorabilia and stuff, you know, that my folks, that was in 1964. Of course, then us. My dad wanted to be in the Oak Ridge Boys or something like that. That was my dad's parents back in the 40s. No, would have been probably late 30s, early 40s, because my dad was born in 42. So, as far as I know, it wasn't a shotgun wedding. It's my mom's folks. But my grandpa, he died in 86 of cancer. She died in 89 of a heart attack. My grandpa Fish, he died in 2002, just before Christmas in '02. And then my grandma, she died in like 2001. They were both in their 80s. And my daughter, she made a little art when she was a baby. You can see though, lots of memories and stuff, but a lot of stuff to clean up. And so there was my folks. God, that had been 15 years ago. Took my daughter and my niece to the beach. I think that's my brother. Anyway, fun. So, need a haircut. I buzzed my head for summer. It's growing back out. I look like a hobo. I'm going bald, man. Getting a thinning hairline. It's come back some. Did you know I got sick over this past 2-3 years? Yeah, the house. God dang, man. Like I said, I'm very minimal. I don't like having stuff. I like my house to have an echo in it, usually. Like, so you can keep it clean. I'm a big stickler on that kind of stuff, you know. Clean lines, like sweep, clean, wipe things down, like countertops and stuff is a big deal to me, you know, the kitchen. Countertops. I love wide open countertops. Maybe a coffee maker, that's about it. Because I like to be able to take like towels or whatever and 409 and spray down the whole countertop and do like one big wipe. You know what I mean? I love that kind of stuff. That's how I feel good and comfortable in my house. Man. So, sorry I haven't been able to upload for a little bit. Like I said, we got a strike on the channel because I guess I was being offensive. I tried to upload a video 2 weeks ago and it cut me off because it was inappropriate. Like, stupid YouTube, man. So, yeah, that's been about it though. Figured I'd just check in real quick. My phone was starting to die. I go, well, I want to shoot a video. I got the dumpster till I got it for 2 more days. So we've managed to fill it up. I'm going to finish up with the bedrooms and stuff. And yeah, it's just great though. Cleaned a whole bunch of stuff out of the backyard too. Like I said, I had these 3 dudes come over there. The 3 sons of a dude at her work that she's having an affair with, I think. So, of course, they were willing to come over and help because they're, you know, they're calling her mom now. I think my days are numbered. Yeah, they got the backyard cleaned out for the most part, and they're coming back. I said they could keep the grill and whatever if they come back for it. So, good times. I love it. But yeah, like I said, I'm very minimal, so to come and have to clean out the house like it is just drives me up the wall. Cannot stand it. Because I hate stuff, you know. If anybody knows what I mean. Other people, I mean, the amount of stuff that was in this house is like, well, they should be on hoarders because this place is just ridiculous. There's stuff everywhere. And stuff that you just don't need. I'm not ripping on my folks. I'm just saying, you know, it's like in the cupboards. And it goes back to a different era. You know, you could say that my grandparents came up through the Depression and stuff. I remember that. They saved everything. You know, there's every jar, every whatever. There were old pickle jars and stuff back in the cupboards. They never threw anything out. They would just, like say pickle jars and whatever, they would wash them and save them for a later date in case I want to put anything in it. I'm just going through my folks' bathroom though, and I found just a box full of old prescription bottle lids, you know, little white snap-on lids and stuff. But there was like a whole collection of different kinds of prescription bottle lids. That was probably my dad, you know, and I thought about like, why would you save all these? And I was just talking to Selena too, and she said the same thing. Like it was, I was like, well, if you ever heard my dad talk, well, I might have had a pill in a prescription bottle that didn't have a lid. So I know that I might be able to find a lid for it if I save those lids. Okay. it just drives me nuts. Because I love my folks to death, and it drives me nuts, all this stuff. And it's always been a point of contention between me and my folks. Because then they, of course, are like, oh, like I remember my dad would go off on me back in the day and he'd be like, you know, you just wait till you own something. And I'm like, I do own stuff, and when I want to move, I can move it all in one day. I used to be, for years, I was really proud of the fact that the biggest thing I had to pack to go move somewhere was my stereo and my TV. And you're talking an old tube TV, you know. I had like a 27-inch tube TV, and it would go in the back seat with my big old Serwin Vega speakers and my Kenwood system. That would take up my whole back seat. I packed the trunk with a couple of garbage bags of clothes. And whenever I got to the new town that I was moving to, I'd find a used couch, and I'd sleep on the floor or the couch until I found a bed. And then I'd get a bed, and that was it. And I guess you could say I was always a little bit more nomadic. So that's just the way I always was. I just never liked having a lot of stuff. I like to hear an echo in my house. That's how I always describe it. I want to hear an echo in my house. That That's how you know you don't have too much stuff. So, so what else is new though? Selena has lost 80 pounds. She's doing really good. She's very thin. She's lost a couple of third graders. So she's very thin. There's not as much of her to grab anymore, but I still like grabbing it. She hadn't lost her butt, but she lost the gut. So that's good. Me, from what I had, what's it been? A few months since I made the one video where I did go blind in my left eye. It got really bad, and it was glaucoma from the diabetes, but I also had what they said was like a minor stroke behind my eye. So I had 3 different surgeries. They actually put a shunt in my eye. It's like a tube, a drainage tube, because glaucoma is where the ducts in the eye don't drain or something like that. It was my stupid, half-tarted trucker, understanding could make of it. But I was going blind, though. I basically had like a stroke in my eye. 3 surgeries later, they had put a shunt in, and then it dropped the pressure too much, and my eye was actually caving in on itself, and I had like this weird, like vertical vision where the sides were closing in on my eye because the pressure went so low. Now my eyeball was soft and closing in, so they had to go back in another time. 3 surgeries I had though. They have had laser procedures, but they had to put a stent into the shunt so the pressure would come back up. And then I started to get my vision back a little bit. Crazy. So it's getting better. I'm on the mend still, and I am doing a lot better. Been sitting on the couch for a few months though, not doing much, felt like garbage. Every time I got a little too active, I started feeling like pulsating in my head and everything while my vision was trying to come back still. But I am doing better now. I can actually handle doing this stuff around here and everything, which is better. Hopefully get done with this. I just want to go out and find a job, go do something for a while, I got a sugar mama, so I don't need to work that hard. I gotta admit though, this past 2.5, 3 years since we came back from Texas to Vegas, this has to have been probably the roughest few years I could ever think of. I mean, I've been through plenty, divorce and all this kind of stuff, and plenty of hardship in life, and then gone homeless a couple of times in my life and everything. It's like this past few years with medical problems, coming back to help my folks, going through all that now. My dad passing away, and now my mom, she's still kicking, but of course she has metastatic cancer, a lot of health problems, and she's getting weaker and weaker all the time and stuff. I mean, she barely even leaves the house anymore, and this has been, as soon as some of this lessens up, lightens up a little bit, it's gonna like, we're gonna be like the sun rises again, because it's like been just grueling health problems and everything. It's just like one thing, and then the house gets broken into. It's like, great, one more goddamn thing to throw in the pile, So here we are, still kicking, still doing it. And the funny thing is, like, in the last video from a few months ago, my brother, he technically owns this house. Like I said, the way I could explain it is my folks had a tax issue with the state of California over a decade ago, and they got a lawyer for it. And the lawyer said, get any assets out of your name. They quick deeded the house to my brother and said, as soon as this gets resolved, give it back. Yeah, sure. So they quick deeded it over to my brother. A few months later, it got squashed. The tax issue got dismissed. It was a misunderstanding. And they go, hey, give us our house back. And he's like, what house? He kept it. It was like, and he did tell me, I don't know, some time back, he's all, well, by me keeping it, probably allowed mom and dad to keep living in that house because they were never that good with their money or anything like that. And I go, yeah, but that wasn't your choice to make, dude. It was their house. They paid for it. The house was paid off. House is worth over $400,000 just sitting here. It's like, and you're just going to keep it? Like, that ain't cool. That's money that my mom could have used now or something if she wanted to take out a loan or something like that or whatever, you know. Or to even be able to pass it on to the both of us or something, you know. I guess my cheese is out in the wind too, as far as I'm not that petty, like, I want my money. But it's just like, that's a dick move, dude. Because had my parents quick deeded it to me, guess what? In a few months' time, and they said, oh, can we have our house back? I would have been like, yeah, here you go. No problem. It's your house. I don't know. Like I said, family shit. Petty. So, that's about it. We're just kicking. Just scraping by for now. Getting old man chin. 52. Ugh. Getting old. So, good times. All right. So, now that I can post videos again, maybe I'll see about getting Selena on at some point. She's working 6 days a week right now, though. I got a whole bunch of overtime. And she's a foreman now. She's making buku money. So she's working like 60 hours a week. They're doing six days a week. She gets Sundays off. And they're doing 5 tens, and then Saturdays they do 8 hours. So 58 hours a week, but it's at the shop, and they got a whole big job going on where they're doing something for Google. It's called Switch that they're putting in on the south side of town. It's a big old job for that. So she's, doing all that stuff. But she's at the forefront, man. She's cutting edge, tip of the sword, tip of the spear. Good times. Hope everybody's doing good. Seen a couple of comments. Everybody wishes we were still doing trucking videos. I know, but that's already been like 5 years ago, dude. I ain't going back trucking now that I'm half blind. So, like I said, somebody broke in the house. Great. One more thing. So, that's what's been going on with us, and make some more videos as soon as I can. All right. Got to get back cleaning up. Got to get this place cleaned out, man. Whew. So my brother can get over here and claim his prize, his house. I don't know. That's, like I said, I don't think that'll ever sit right with me. Whatever. Anyway, check back later. Out.